What? More Bakugan stuff already? But I just put everything away! Hello again, everybody! Just one day later and I've already gotten some more Bakugan details. Soon after I put up that video, I was able to come across several interesting things, which include a battle pack, which includes more than one Bakugan inside of it, as well as a few images of some of the gameplay. So we're going to take a look at some of those, do a little speculating, and see what's up. So the first thing I have here is the Bakugan Battle Pack. This is a 5-pack of Bakugan that, from the look of it, contains 3 regular and 2 Ultra Bakugan. The Ultra ones, like I said before, they are like the equivalent of the special attack. And according to what I have heard, this battle pack is being sold for $30. And that would average out to $6 per Bakugan. But keep in mind that it has 2 Ultra Bakugan in there. And the Ultras are more like the special attacks. So in reality, it's probably more like, I'm making my price estimates right now. The basic Bakugan are going to be $5, and the Ultra Bakugan are either going to be $7 or $8. That would put it roughly in line with how the standard Bakugan were versus the Special Attack Super Assault Bakugan in the original season. $5 is kind of a magic number, too. I imagine they would fight for $5 because that's standard pocket money for your average kid, and the $8 for the Ultra ones, those, like I said, the Ultras are clearly aimed more at people who may be more fans of the original series, people like me who would be more inclined to pay a premium price. So that's my guess going forward. It also contains, apparently there are 2 kinds of cards. There are ability cards and character cards, and it looks like the character cards are the ones that have the red backs to them. Going down to the next image I have here, this is a look at the field, and it has the Baku cores scattered all over the place. We have some of the characters we saw in the previous video in different attributes, and importantly, I'm seeing that some of these Bakugan have picked up and are holding the Baku cores, and on the back of these Baku cores appear to be some numbers and some other symbols that I made that might come into play in the future. Like I see one being held up that says plus 100B, B being the new G, I guess they're doing B for Bakugan, I suppose. Another one says plus 400 and has some additional symbols on it, and they've actually flipped them over, kind of like turning mech cards. So it looks like in this new version of the game, you roll individual Bakugan onto the onto these little Baku cores in order to flip them. So it's a little bit like turning mech card. It looks like the actual turning part isn't necessary to the game. It's just an added feature of some of these some of these Ultra Bakugan, which is nice. I like the idea that it doesn't have to be bound to the base in order to transform. That means we can have a lot more interesting transformation possibilities, and that is something I'm totally in favor of. I would love to see other transformations. Apparently the Mantis, in another picture I have, the Mantanoid, it would hold it on its back. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes going forward. And I'm also seeing a new symbol here. That's that blue shield again. So now let's get into the character packs. And these have pictures of the characters on them. So what I see here on Nilius's card is it has a B of 500. It has what I assume to be the new symbol for Darkus up at the top, which is a small series of diamonds. All of the attributes now have 2 abilities. I see a something on the right side that says 2 on it, and on the top I see a green fist and a double helix. Now, based on the fact that the Baku cores that come with Nilius are a green fist and a double helix, I assume that this thing on the top right here is starting Baku cores. I assume that when you set up your team, that these are the kinds of Baku cores that character basically brings into play along with it, and that's what goes on your field. So there's a bit of team build to put in mind when you bring these characters out. I assume that Baku cores don't have to absolutely match the character, otherwise they would print it differently. So you can probably mix and match, but they just have to come from that particular spot. So that looks kind of interesting. The B500, I assume that the card adds to that, because some of the pictures have had the Bakugan themselves have numbers printed on them. It's all been in increments of 100 so far, so I assume it's like Gormiti, where you combine the card and the figure power together, along with the power on the Baku core that they pick up, and I assume some ability cards can affect that. And we also have the Pega card is what I also pulled up. And I am seeing here with Pega. So this is Pega fully unfolded. Like I said, like I guessed before, it kind of has the Darak-looking spread-out wings. Pega, I believe, was one of the standard ones, and it's nice to see that in Chaos. That's a nice-looking model right there. I'm really impressed. It has the 2 green fists, and on its card, it has 2 green fists in the top right, which, like I said, I assume are the Baku cores it brings with it that you put into play. It has the B500. It has a fist of 2. I don't know if that's the number of cores you need to play it or something like that. That has some kind of feature. Like, there's one of Trox that has just one of these little burning fists. I assume that has a stat of some kind, and it looks like if it has an ability that if it lands on a green fist, it gets plus 200 power. Although it says B500, then plus 200B. That's a minor grammatical thing. And plus 2 fist. So we'll have to see what that fist means. It's going to be interesting taking a look at that. And Chaos' new attribute is more of a dazzling, looks more like sort of a dazzling, gleaming sun or something like that. I know there was actually some issues with Chaos before that some people thought it looked like a pentagram. So I imagine that's why they changed the symbol going forward. And yeah, there it is. So I see I have a final picture here. It's just one of Garganoid. I see what looks like a 6 back there. So Garganoid probably has 600 power. That's the super zoomed in picture I had on my YouTube channel. So, all right. So that's some pretty interesting speculation here. Like I said, I'm calling it now. Standard boosters are 5. Ultras are 8. We have the battle packs for 30, and we're probably going to have standard starter sets that contain maybe 2 core and 1 special 4. I'm going to say $15 or $16. That's kind of high. Maybe those will contain just the regular ones and be roughly 15. Like I said, the original starter packs were 8 for the longest time, and although that was sort of because they were on perpetual sale, they kind of jumped up to 13, which was kind of good. Mectanium Surge is when they really got crazy. And oh, speaking of names, was I calling Gandalian Invaders Gandalian Invasion during the entire last video? Oh well. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see how this whole thing is going forward. There are some more pictures. I think I've retweeted them to my Twitter, so you can check them out there. I'm probably going to retweet any new leaks I find there. Unless it's something huge like this that reveals more information, that's probably where you're going to find that resource. So, link in the description, and until next time, this is Kodak signing off.
This is the final stand. The power's in your hands. Two worlds collide on the inside. You gotta fight for one.